The Christmas crib is a simple and joyful proclamation of the mystery of the Incarnation. It invites us to contemplate the Christmas story and through that are invited to set out on a spiritual journey attracted by the humility of God who came on earth to encounter us, share His love with us so that we may become one with Him. The Holy Father sees this custom of setting up the nativity scene at various spaces we live, interact and access such as schools, workplaces, prisons, hospitals, etc. It is important to carry on this rich tradition that involves a great deal of imagination and creativity. The origin of the crib finds its details in the Gospel. In Luke chapter 2 verse 7, the evangelist says, Mary gave birth to her firstborn and wrapped him in swaddling clothes because there was no place for them in the inn. Jesus was placed in a manger, a place where animals fed. The fathers of the church, impressed by this symbolism, alluded to Jesus becoming our food by lying in that manger. The history of the crib is familiar to us. In a little town of Greccio in Italy, St. Francis, while on his way back to Assisi, around 15 days before Christmas, with the help of John, tried to bring back to life the memory of the birth of Jesus. This could have been influenced by the art of Rome and his travels to the Holy Land. Friars from various parts and the local people came to this cave in Greccio. All those present experienced a new and indescribable joy in the presence of this Christmas scene. The nativity scene was enacted and experienced by all present. A vision of those present there who saw baby Jesus lying in the manger was reported. From this scene, everyone left with joy in their hearts. Why does the crib move us deeply? Firstly, because it shows us God's tender love by lowering Himself to take up our littleness. In Jesus, God gives us a brother who comes to seek us whenever we feel lost and confused. God gave us one who would forgive us and free us from our sins. Secondly, the Nativity invites us to follow Jesus along the path of humility, poverty, and self-denial. It is an encounter where we are asked to meet with Jesus and to serve Him by showing mercy to those in greatest need. Pope Francis reflects on various elements to appreciate its deeper meaning. Firstly, the starry night sky wrapped in darkness and the silence of the night. We have our own moments of darkness. During these moments, God is with us. He is with us to answer our crucial life questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? God's response is to come among us. Through this, He lights up the darkness of those who suffer. Secondly, the surrounding landscape. These frequently include the ruins of ancient houses and buildings. These are the visible signs of the fallen humanity, of all that we do that is of selfish ambition and pleasure. Jesus comes as a newness in the midst of the ruins to heal, rebuild, and restore us back to the Father. The angels that appeared to the shepherds and the star are a sign of an invitation to come to the crib and worship Jesus. The shepherds in Luke chapter 2 verse 15, after the message of the angel, decide to go to the cave of the Nativity. There is a beautiful lesson for us. Unlike others busy with their lives, the shepherds are the first to experience the gifts of salvation. The shepherds who are children of God encountered the infant Jesus with love, gratitude, and awe. There are other symbolic figures such as the beggars who know only the warmth of the heart. They too have every right to experience Jesus. The poor are a privileged part of the mystery and are the first to experience God's presence and providence. The presence of the poor reminds us that Jesus came to those who feel most in need of Him and seek Him with their hearts. The cave reveals the figures of Mary and Joseph. Mary contemplates her children and shows Him to every visitor. Mary, who responded to God's message in total obedience to the angel's message by accepting to be the Mother of God, shows us how to abandon ourselves to God's will. Mary gives Jesus to everyone and unites all to obey His word and practice it in their lives. When we look at Saint Joseph depicted with a staff, we see the role he played. By protecting his family, caring for them, we see him as the first teacher of Jesus. Joseph silently treasured the mystery he beheld as a just man, entrusted him to God's will and put it into practice. The statue of the infant Jesus in the manger enlivens the crib. God made flesh is held in our arms. Jesus, concealing His power that transforms, came alive in the frailty of child, thus revealing the greatness of His love, smiling and opening His arms to all. By observing the stars, the three wise men bringing gifts that are symbolic in their meaning. God honoring Jesus, gold His kingship, incense His divinity, myrrh His sacred humanity. As we contemplate on this aspect, we are called to reflect on the responsibility of every Christian to spread the gospel. We are all called to bear the good news to all, testifying by our practical works of mercy to the joy of knowing Jesus and His love. Finally, the crib teaches us to contemplate Jesus, experience God's love for us, feel and believe that God is with us and we with Him, and with this knowledge find true happiness. May our prayer be constantly one of thanksgiving to God, who wished to share His all with us and never leave us alone. May God bless us all.